Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The ship was called the UES Vengeance. He looked out at the dark space around them. Something special was happening today. His ship was not like other ships. It used dark matter as power. Dark matter was everywhere in space? Most people could not see it or touch it, but humans had learned how to use it. They had worked on this secret project for 3 years. Now it was ready. Dr. Lisa Parker sat at her workstation. She was watching the numbers on her screen. The numbers showed how much dark matter was flowing through the ship. "Everything looks good, Captain," she said. "The dark matter is staying where it should be. We are at 99.7% control," Jake nodded. He felt proud but also nervous. This was the first time anyone had made a ship like this. Other ships in the galaxy used normal fuel. They burned things to make power. But humans had found a way to use the invisible matter that filled all of space. The ship hummed with new energy. Jake could feel it in his bones. The dark matter made the ship feel alive. It was not just a machine anymore. It was something more. On Earth, Admiral Frank Collins watched from his office. He had gray hair and tired eyes. He had been planning for this day for many years. When aliens first came to Earth 15 years ago, they did not think much of humans. They thought humans were just children playing with simple toys. The aliens had formed something called the Galactic Council. This was like a big government for all the smart species in the galaxy. There were 12 different types of aliens in the council. The most proud ones were called Zephyrians. Their leader was named Crickstal. He looked down on humans and thought they were not very smart, Lieutenant. Amy Rodriguez was working at the communication station. She listened to messages coming from other ships. "Captain," she said, "I am getting calls from the Thunder and the Shadow Strike. Both ships are working well, too." The Thunder was commanded by Captain Ryan Davis. He was a good friend of Jake's. They had trained together for years. The Shadow Strike had Captain Helen Brooks in charge. She was known for being very brave and smart. "Sir," Amy continued, "Admiral Collins is calling us. He says it is important. The Galactic Council wants to look at our new ships. They know we have built something new." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew trouble was coming. The aliens had spies everywhere. They had finally learned about the Human Dark Matter Project. For too long, the aliens had treated humans like babies. They thought humans could not do anything important. That was about to change. The ship's doctor, Ben Carter, walked onto the bridge. He was not just a medical doctor. He was also a scientist who studied dark matter. "Captain," he said, "I have been reading the alien messages. They are scared. They think we are breaking their rules." Jake looked at him. "What rules?" "They have a law that says no one can use dark matter for weapons. They think it is too dangerous. But our ships are not really weapons. They are just powered by dark matter." Dr. Parker looked up from her screen. The aliens tried to use dark matter before, but they could never control it. It always exploded or caused problems. They think it cannot be done safely. Jake walked to the big window at the front of the bridge. He could see stars everywhere. Between those stars was dark matter. Lots of it. More dark matter existed than regular matter. It was like the hidden skeleton of the universe. "The difference is," Jake said slowly, "we do not fight the dark matter. We work with it. We listen to it." Amy got another message. "Captain, the Council is demanding that we come to their big meeting place. They want to see our ships up close. If they do not like what they see, they will make us destroy the ships." Admiral Collins appeared on the main screen. His face looked serious. "Jake, this is it. This is what we have been preparing for. The Council thinks they can push us around like they always have. But today, they're going to learn something new about humans." Jake stood up straight. "We are ready, sir. The Vengeance, Thunder, and Shadow Strike are all working perfectly. Our crews know what to do." The Admiral nodded. "Remember, son, we are not trying to start a war. We are trying to earn respect. Show them that humans are not the weak little species they think we are. Show them that we belong in this galaxy as equals. The call ended. Jake looked around at his crew. They all looked nervous but determined. Each person on the ship had trained for years for this moment. They knew that the future of humanity depended on what happened next. Set course for the council meeting place, Jake ordered. It is time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. The ship turned toward its destination. The dark matter engines made no sound, but Jake could feel their power. The Vengeance moved faster than any ship had ever moved before. Behind them, the Thunder and Shadow Strike followed. In a few days, they would reach the council. The aliens would see human technology for the first time. They would learn that the species they had ignored for so long had become something amazing. The age of human power in the galaxy was about to begin. The Galactic Council meeting room was huge. It was built on a planet called Nexus Prime. This planet was right in the middle of the galaxy. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat in the big room. They all looked worried and angry. Ambassador Crystal stood in front of everyone. He was a Zephyrian, which meant he looked like he was made of living crystal. His body was glowing with bright colors that showed he was upset. "The humans have broken our most important law," he said in a loud voice. "No species is allowed to make weapons from dark matter. It is too dangerous. It could destroy everything." General Vorth was there too. He was from a species called the Drachneri. They look like big lizards and love to fight. He hit his scaly fist on the table. "The humans are getting too bold. First they said no when we offered to protect them. Now they are making forbidden weapons. We need to stop them before they cause trouble." At the human section of the room, Ambassador Carol Stevens stood quietly. The human area was simple and plain. It did not have fancy decorations like the alien sections. Carol was not scared, even though she was surrounded by aliens who did not. "Like her, you are wrong," Carol said in a calm voice. "The treaty says we cannot make dark matter weapons, but our ships are not weapons. They are exploration ships and defense ships that use dark matter as fuel. There is a difference." A being made of pure light floated nearby. This was Luminax from the ethereal species. They were very old and thought they were very wise. "You are just playing with words, human. Dark matter cannot be controlled safely. Your carelessness could kill everyone in the galaxy." The leader of the whole council was High Counselor Zephyrin. He belonged to an ancient species called the Celestial Order. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. He raised his hand for silence. "The humans will show us their technology under controlled conditions. If their dark matter use is dangerous or threatening, they must destroy these ships right away." Carol nodded. "Humanity accepts this challenge. Captain Morrison and his fleet will be here in 3 days." What the council did not know was something very important. Humans had not just learned to use dark matter. They had learned to make friends with it. The secret was not in forcing the dark matter to obey. The secret was in working together with it. Dr. Ben Carter was the smartest human scientist when it came to dark matter. He had spent many years studying old alien records. He found information about species that had tried to use dark matter long ago. Most of them had failed badly. Their planets had been destroyed when the dark matter went out of control, but Ben had discovered something amazing. The key was not in building stronger containers for the dark matter. The key was in the human mind itself. Human thoughts could actually talk to dark matter in a way that other species could not. Back on the human ships, Captain Jake Morrison was preparing for the big test. His crew was nervous but ready. Dr. Lisa Parker was checking all the systems. "One more time. Captain, our dark matter readings are perfect. The connection between our minds and the dark matter is stronger than ever." Captain Ryan Davis called from the Thunder. "Jake, my crew is reporting something strange. When we all focus together, the dark matter seems to get happier. It works better when we work as a team." Captain Helen Brooks spoke from the Shadow Strike. "I am seeing the same thing. It is like the dark matter wants to help us. It responds to our feelings and thoughts." This was the big secret that humans had discovered. Other species tried to control dark matter like it was just fuel. but dark matter was not just fuel, it was almost alive. It could sense the thoughts and feelings of the people around it. And for some reason it liked humans. Dr. Carter had a theory about why this worked. He thought that human consciousness was naturally in tune with the frequency of dark matter. Other species had different types of minds. Their thoughts created the wrong vibrations. When they tried to use dark matter, it fought back, but human minds created the right vibrations. When humans thought peaceful, cooperative thoughts, the dark matter became calm and helpful. When human crews worked together with trust and friendship, the dark matter became very powerful. On Nexus Prime, the alien representatives were still arguing. Many of them were scared. They had tried to use dark matter before and failed. Some of their planets still had scars from dark matter accidents. That happened hundreds of years ago. Ambassador Crystal was the most worried. His species had lost 2 planets to dark matter explosions. "You do not understand how dangerous this is," he told Carol. "Dark matter has destroyed entire solar systems. It cannot be tamed. It cannot be controlled. Your species is too young to understand this." Carol looked at him calmly. "Maybe the problem is not that dark matter cannot be controlled. Maybe the problem is in how you tried to control it." General Vorth laughed, but it was not a nice laugh. "Humans think they are smarter than species that have existed for millions of years? You have been in space for less than 100 years. We have been studying these forces since before your species existed." "Time does not always equal wisdom," Carol replied. "Sometimes being new means seeing things differently. Sometimes the old ways are not the best ways." High Counselor Zephyron was thinking hard. His species had ruled the galaxy for so long because they were careful and wise, but they had never been able to use dark matter safely. If humans really had found a way to do it, everything would change. The military balance of the galaxy would shift completely. Dark matter was the most powerful force in the universe. Ships powered by dark matter would be faster and stronger than anything that existed. They could change the shape of space itself, but there was something even more important than military power. If humans could really work with dark matter safely, it meant they understood something about the universe that no other species understood. It would mean that the youngest species in the galaxy had achieved something that the oldest species could not. The next 3 days would change everything. Either the humans would prove they could do the impossible, or they would fail spectacularly, and probably die in the process. The galaxy held its breath and waited to see which it would be. The test area near Nexus Prime was filled with alien ships. Every major species in the galaxy had sent observers to watch the human demonstration. Captain Jake Morrison brought his 3 ships into the designated zone. The Vengeance, Thunder, and Shadow Strike moved in perfect formation. The alien ships stayed far away. They were scared that the human ships might explode. Many species had seen dark matter accidents before. Entire fleets had been destroyed when dark matter went out of control. All Council ships stay at least 50,000 kilometers away. Jake broadcast on all communication channels. "We are beginning our demonstration now." Inside the Vengeance, Dr. Lisa Parker watched her instruments carefully. The dark matter core was humming with energy. But it was not a scary hum. It was more like a song. "Captain, all systems are perfect. The dark matter is responding beautifully to our crew's mental patterns." Jake nodded. He could feel the connection between his mind and the dark matter. It was like having a conversation with the universe itself. "Beginning speed test," he announced. The Vengeance suddenly shot forward. It went from standing still to almost the speed of light in just a few seconds. No alien ship could accelerate that fast. Most ships needed several minutes to reach maximum speed. On the observer ships, alarms were going off everywhere. The alien sensors could barely track the human ship. It was moving so fast that it looked like a blur of shadow and light. "Impossible," whispered Ambassador Crystal from his observation ship. His crystal body was flashing with confusion and fear. "No ship can accelerate that quickly without tearing itself apart. The crew should be dead from the force." But Jake and his crew felt fine. The dark matter field around their ship protected them from the crushing acceleration. It was like being wrapped in a blanket of space itself. Captain Ryan Davis took his turn next. The Thunder moved to the center of the test area. Beginning defensive demonstration, he announced. Several automated weapons platforms began firing at his ship. These were the same weapons that could destroy normal battleships, but something amazing happened. Dark matter barriers appeared around the Thunder. The barriers looked like walls made of shadow and starlight. When the weapons hit the barriers, they did not just bounce off. The energy from the weapons was absorbed and converted into more dark matter fuel. The barriers are not just defending, reported Dr. Parker. They are actually feeding on the attack energy. The more someone shoots at the ship, the stronger it becomes. The alien observers could not believe what they were seeing. Defense systems that grew stronger when attacked violated everything they knew about physics and warfare. Captain Helen Brooks piloted the Shadow Strike next. She demonstrated the most incredible ability of all. Her ship began to fade, becoming transparent like a ghost. Then it flew straight through a large asteroid. The ship did not break the asteroid or push it aside. It passed through the solid rock like the rock was not even there. The Shadow Strike had partially shifted out of normal space-time. We call this phase shifting, Helen explained over the communication channel. By adjusting our dark matter field frequency, we can exist partially in normal space and partially in dark matter space. Physical objects cannot touch us when we are phase shifted. General Vorth's tactical officer was staring at his instruments in shock. Sir, their dark matter signatures are stable beyond anything we have ever measured. The energy output of each ship exceeds our most powerful dreadnoughts by thousands of times. But the most amazing thing was not the power levels. It was the control. Every previous attempt to use dark matter had resulted in explosions or reality tears. The fact that humans could not only contain it safely, but use it with perfect precision, was beyond understanding. High Counselor Zephyrin contacted Jake directly. Captain Morrison, your species has achieved something we believed was impossible. How do you maintain such perfect dark matter resonance? Jake's answer was broadcast to all the observer ships. We do not fight the dark matter, Counselor. We listen to it, we work with it. We treat it like a partner, not like a tool. Dr. Ben Carter appeared on the communication channel from Earth. Honored Council members, what you have seen today is only a small sample of our capabilities. Dark matter is not just fuel for us. It is a bridge to understanding how the universe really works. He activated a display that showed dark matter distribution throughout the galaxy. For thousands of years, your civilizations have seen dark matter as dangerous and unpredictable. But humans discovered that consciousness and dark matter are connected. Our minds naturally vibrate at the same frequency as dark matter. Ambassador. Crystal crystal form dimmed with shock. You are saying that thinking minds can influence the basic structure of space and time. Not just saying it, Dr. Carter replied. Proving it. Our ships do not just use dark matter. We communicate with it. Every human crew member becomes part of a group consciousness that guides the dark matter fields around their ship. Jake added from the Vengeance. Our crews report experiencing a form of cosmic awareness when connected to the dark matter systems. We can sense other ships across vast distances. We can predict enemy movements before they make them. We can feel threats coming from light years away. The military implications were staggering. Traditional weapons and defenses would be useless against ships that could phase through attacks, manipulate space-time, and predict their enemies' actions before those enemies even knew what they were going to do. But the scientific implications were even more important. Luminax, the being made of light, pulsed with excitement. If consciousness can influence dark matter and dark matter shapes the structure of the universe, then thinking life itself is a fundamental force of creation. Dr. Parker transmitted more data from the Vengeance. We have detected dark matter signatures around every inhabited world in the galaxy. Wherever conscious life exists, dark matter behaves differently. We believe that all thinking species unconsciously influence dark matter, but humans are the first to achieve conscious control. This revelation shook the foundations of galactic science. Every species had assumed that consciousness was just a byproduct of complex brains. But the human data suggested that consciousness was actually a basic force of the universe, as fundamental as gravity or electromagnetism. High Counselor Zephyrin called for an emergency recess. The ancient celestial order had ruled the galaxy for millennia based on their advanced technology and accumulated wisdom. Suddenly, the youngest species in the council had demonstrated capabilities that made their own achievements seem primitive. Admiral Collins, observing from Earth, spoke to his staff. They are beginning to understand. We have not just built better weapons or faster ships. We have proven that humanity has a unique relationship with the universe itself. We are not just another species competing for resources. We are partners with the cosmos. The demonstration was over, but its effects would last forever. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Council chambers were completely different now. What had started as a trial to punish humans had become something much bigger. The alien representatives sat in stunned silence as they tried to understand what they had just witnessed. Doctor. Then Carter appeared as a hologram from the human research station near Earth. Honored council members, what you saw today is only the beginning. Dark matter is not just fuel for our ships. It is a doorway to understanding the most basic truths about reality itself. He activated a new display that showed the entire galaxy. Dark matter was everywhere, like an invisible web connecting all the stars and planets. For centuries, your civilizations have treated dark matter as something to be feared. You saw it as chaotic and destructive. But humans learned that dark matter is not chaotic at all. It responds to consciousness. Ambassador Crystal's crystal body flickered with disbelief. You are claiming that thoughts can change the fundamental forces of the universe? Not claiming, Dr. Carter replied calmly, demonstrating. Our ships work because consciousness and dark matter exist in quantum entanglement. Human neural patterns naturally harmonize with dark matter frequencies. This happens because consciousness itself helps shape reality at the quantum level. Captain Jake Morrison spoke from the Vengeance, which was still in the test area. Our crews do not just pilot these ships. They become part of them. When we interface with the dark matter systems, we experience a form of cosmic awareness. We can sense things happening across vast distances. We can predict movements before they occur. The military implications were frightening to the alien observers. General Vorth's tactical computers were showing impossible readings. Ships that could phase through solid matter, predict enemy actions, and convert incoming attacks into additional fuel would make traditional warfare obsolete. But the scientific implications were even more revolutionary. Luminax, the energy being, pulsed with intense curiosity. If consciousness can influence dark matter, and dark matter shapes the structure of the universe, then sentient life is not just an accident. It is a fundamental force of creation itself. Dr. Lisa Parker transmitted detailed scientific data from her position on the Vengeance. We have been studying dark matter signatures around inhabited worlds throughout the galaxy. Every planet with intelligent life shows unique dark matter patterns. The dark matter behaves differently wherever conscious beings exist. This information hit the Council like a shock wave. For millions of years, the various species had believed that consciousness was simply the result of complex chemical reactions. In brains, they thought that intelligence was rare and unimportant in the grand scheme of the universe, but the human data suggested something completely different. Consciousness was not just a side effect of evolution. It was a basic property of the universe. As fundamental as gravity or electromagnetic force, High Counselor Zephyrin struggled to process this information. His species, the Celestial Order, had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had based their authority on being the oldest and most technologically advanced civilization. Now, a species that had only been in space for decades was showing them truths about the universe they had never imagined. How long have you known this? Zephyrin asked. Admiral Collins answered from Earth. We have suspected the connection between consciousness and dark matter for about 5 years. But we only achieved stable control 18 months ago. The breakthrough came when we stopped trying to dominate the dark matter and started trying to cooperate with it. Dr. Carter continued the explanation. Every previous attempt at dark matter manipulation failed because the species involved approached it with the wrong mindset. They tried to force dark matter to obey them. They used fear, aggression, and the desire for power as their driving emotions. But dark matter responds to consciousness, Captain Ryan Davis added from the Thunder. When consciousness is filled with fear and aggression, dark matter becomes unstable. When consciousness is filled with cooperation and harmony, dark matter becomes perfectly controllable. Ambassador Carol Stevens stood up in the human section of the council chambers. This is why our ships work and yours do not. It is not because humans are smarter or more advanced. It is because we approach dark matter with the right attitude. We see it as a partner, not as a tool to be dominated. General Vorth found this concept difficult to accept. His entire species was built around the idea that strength came from domination and control. You are saying that power comes from cooperation? That makes no sense. Captain Helen Brooks responded from the Shadow Strike. General, our dark matter abilities actually increase when multiple human crews work together. When we coordinate our consciousness, our ships become more powerful. Cooperation literally makes us stronger. This was perhaps the most shocking revelation of all. Most civilizations believed that power was a limited resource. If one person had more power, it meant someone else had less. But the humans were demonstrating that some kinds of power actually increased when they were shared. Dr. Carter showed new data on the holographic display. We have discovered that dark matter consciousness cannot be developed through aggression or competition. Species that try to weaponize it always fail catastrophically. The universe seems to have built-in safeguards against the misuse of its fundamental forces. High Counselor Zephyrin consulted with the other council leaders in hushed tones. This, information changed everything they thought they knew about power, technology, and the nature of existence itself. After several minutes of intense discussion, Zephyrin made an announcement that would change galactic history. The Galactic Council formally recognizes humanity as a Tier 1 civilization with all accompanying rights and responsibilities. This was unprecedented. No species had ever jumped from newcomer status to Tier 1 in such a short time. Tier 1 civilizations were the most advanced and powerful in the galaxy. They had the right to vote on major galactic policies and lead other species, but Zephyrin was not finished. Furthermore, the Council requests that humanity share their dark matter consciousness techniques with other willing species. We wish to learn from your discoveries. Admiral Collins appeared on the main screen. We accept the recognition and the responsibility that comes with it. However, dark matter consciousness cannot simply be taught like ordinary technology. It must be developed naturally. We are willing to help other species find their own harmonic relationship with dark matter. But the process requires fundamental changes in how civilizations think about power and cooperation. Ambassador Stevens concluded, humanity proposes the formation of a dark matter research consortium. All willing species can work together to explore these new frontiers. But participation requires a commitment to peaceful development and cooperative exploration. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The galaxy had just learned that its most fundamental assumptions about power, consciousness, and the nature of reality were wrong. The youngest species in the Council had not only achieved impossible technology, but had proven that the universe itself seemed to favor cooperation over domination. Species across the galaxy would need to reconsider everything they thought they knew about strength, wisdom, and the relationship between mind and matter. The age of dark matter consciousness had begun, and with it, a new chapter in galactic civilization. 3 months after the demonstration, the galaxy was completely different. The news of humanity's dark matter breakthrough had spread to every inhabited world. Some species were excited about the possibilities. Others were frightened by the implications. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the newly built research station orbiting Earth. Through the windows, he could see ships from a dozen different species. They had all come to learn about dark matter consciousness. The first students were the ethereal beings like Luminax. Their energy-based consciousness was naturally similar to the quantum frequencies of dark matter. Within weeks, they had achieved basic dark matter resonance. Their ships could now phase shift, though not as smoothly as human vessels. Dr. Lisa Parker was leading the research consortium from the main laboratory. She had teams of scientists from 8 different species working together. The key breakthrough, she explained to a group of Celestial Order researchers, is understanding that consciousness is not separate from the physical universe. They are part of the same system. The Zephyrians were having more difficulty. Ambassador Crystal had volunteered to be part of the first test group from his species. His crystal structure made it hard for him to achieve the fluid mental states that dark matter required. "I can feel the dark matter responding," Crystal reported during a training session. "But my thoughts are too rigid. My consciousness is too structured to flow with the dark matter frequencies." Dr. Ben Carter worked with him patiently. "Do not try to control your thoughts. Let them move naturally. Dark matter responds to organic mental patterns, not forced ones." After many weeks of practice, Crystal finally achieved a breakthrough. His crystal body began to glow with a new kind of light as he connected with a small dark matter sample. "I understand now," he said with wonder in his voice. "It is not about thinking harder, it is about thinking together with the universe." The military implications of the new technology were creating changes throughout the galaxy. General Vorth had initially opposed the human breakthrough, but now he was one of the most enthusiastic students. His species, the Draknari, were natural warriors, but they were learning that true strength came from harmony, not aggression. "My people have always believed that power comes from conquest," Vorth explained to Captain Ryan Davis during a training exercise, "but your dark matter ships have taught us something new. The strongest warriors are those who fight alongside the universe, not against it." The Thunder had been assigned to help train Draknari crews. Captain Davis found them to be quick learners once they changed their mindset. "The hardest part for them is letting go of the need to dominate," he reported to Admiral Collins. "But once they understand cooperation, their warrior discipline actually helps them maintain focus." Captain Helen Brooks was working with the most difficult group species that had tried and failed to use dark matter in the past. Many of these civilizations had traumatic memories of dark matter accidents. Entire planets had been destroyed when dark matter experiments went wrong. "We are teaching them that their previous failures were not because dark matter is dangerous," Helen explained. "They failed because they approached it with fear and the desire to control. Fear creates the wrong frequency patterns." The research was revealing amazing discoveries about the nature of consciousness itself. Dr. Carter had established laboratories on 15 different worlds, each studying how different types of minds interacted with dark matter. "Every species has a unique consciousness signature," he reported to the Galactic Council. "But all conscious beings can learn to harmonize with dark matter if they approach it correctly. The universe seems to welcome all forms of cooperative consciousness." High Counselor Zephyrin had been personally involved in the research from the beginning. At first, he had been skeptical and worried about human claims. Now he was one of the strongest supporters of the consortium. "The humans have given us more than new technology," he announced to the Council. "They have given us a new understanding of our place in the universe. We are not separate from the cosmos. We are active participants in its creation." The economic implications were also revolutionary. Dark matter ships required almost no fuel in the traditional sense. They powered themselves by working with the natural dark matter that existed everywhere in space. This meant that transportation costs dropped to almost nothing. Trade between distant worlds became much easier and cheaper. Species that had been isolated because of vast distances could now communicate and trade regularly. The galaxy was becoming more connected than ever. But perhaps the most important change was philosophical. For millions of years, galactic civilizations had competed with each other for resources and territory. The discovery of dark matter consciousness was changing this fundamental assumption. Resources are not limited when you work with the universe. Instead of against it, Ambassador Carol Stevens explained to a gathering of planetary governors, "Dark matter is everywhere. It is infinite. When we learn to cooperate with it, scarcity becomes abundance." Some species were struggling with these new ideas. The concept that cooperation could create more power than competition challenged basic assumptions that had guided their societies for thousands of years, but other species embraced the changes enthusiastically. The research consortium was growing every month as more civilizations wanted to learn the new techniques. Admiral Collins watched the developments from Earth with satisfaction and some concern. "We have given the galaxy something wonderful," he told his staff. "But we have also given them something that could be misused if they forget the lessons of cooperation." Captain Morrison understood the Admiral's concerns. "That is why the training is so important. We are not just teaching them how to use dark matter. We are teaching them how to think differently about power and relationships." The human ships continued to patrol the galaxy, but their role had changed. They were no longer just explorers or defenders. They had become teachers and guardians of a new way of thinking. Dr. Parker made a final report to the consortium after 1 year of operation. "We have achieved stable dark matter resonance with representatives from 19 different species. 7 species have successfully built their own dark matter-powered vessels. The universe is becoming a more cooperative place." As Jake looked out at the stars from his ship, he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy through force or superior technology. They had changed it through understanding and cooperation. The dark matter warships had indeed stunned the Galactic Council. But more importantly, they had taught the galaxy that true power came not from domination, but from working together with the fundamental forces of existence itself. The age of cooperation had begun, and the universe itself seemed to approve. Dark matter flowed more smoothly around worlds where species worked together. It became unstable around worlds where conflict and competition dominated. The cosmos had chosen its favorites, and they were those who chose to work together rather than fight alone. Humanity had shown the way, but now all of galactic civilization was walking the path toward a more harmonious future.